the whole thing from the outside could have been very chaotic. And I just, in once Coach Pacheco invited me to this podcast, I started thinking about a lot of things. Like, how did I even get through that? Like, how I drove the bus. I was 8 months pregnant with my belly up against the steering wheel. How did I even drive a bus, much less get a 3-year-old packed up on the bus, still get to the game, do the game?
Hi, everyone. This is Libby Pacheco from the THSCA. Welcome to Season 4 of the Coach's Call podcast. This season, we'll keep delivering content to help you tackle all the different aspects of coaching, from the personal side of what it means to lead to the professional challenges we know you face every day. With basketball and soccer seasons upon us, we want to encourage everyone to stay connected and engage with the Texas way. This program is designed to foster positive sportsmanship across the state, and we're already seeing that positive impact in our fall sports. Positive sportsmanship is something our students, schools, and communities value deeply. So let's continue building on the momentum so we can ensure it remains a core part of Texas athletics. Finally, as leaders in community, education-based athletics, we encourage you to shine a light on all the good things happening in your program. Today, more than ever, it's important to show how athletics positively impact students, schools, and communities. Whether it's the hard work, character, or achievements, every day brings something worth celebrating. So don't let those moments go unnoticed and unshared. When you share your stories, you're helping build support for programs and strengthen our communities across the entire state. Thank you for tuning in, for supporting the podcast, and all you do to support the THSCA. Together, we will continue to help coaches help kids.
Did you know that you can use podcasting to not only share the great news about your athletes and your programs, but as a fundraiser for your booster club? Yes, Lone Star Gridiron produced the 5th podcast in history and has been doing it 20 years. We are expanding now to do shows outside of football. So whatever your sport, reach out to us at 713-269-4620. And we'll discuss how you can use this amazing tool to supercharge your program. And the best part, we do all the heavy lifting. Text your name and school to 713-269-4620. All right, welcome back to the Coach's Call. I'm Chris Doelle, and I have a handful of people we're going to be talking with today, and they're all great. They're all awesome, but I'm going to hand the mic over to Coach Terrenee Knight, who is the Assistant Athletic Coordinator to head boys and girls cross country and track coach at Walnut Grove High School. You're also an MCAA board member, THSCA Rock Captain, 2021 Rock Mentor. Man, this goes on, and I had to cut it short, but Coach Knight, welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's an honor to have this opportunity to discuss with you all about raising a family while coaching. We all know that, family is first and our coaches are family too. So it is truly a odd dynamic for some, but it is so doable. So I'm thankful to have this opportunity to talk to Coach CJ Villegas and Coach Alicia Russo-Murrell today. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. So Coach Villegas, do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about your background? Tell us about your family.
Sure. So my name is CJ Villegas. I'm at Brady High School. Right now we're a 3A school right in the middle of Central Texas. A little bit about my family, and I'll apologize right now, but we're obviously in the start of basketball season, so voice is a little done being in the gym. But we're right now, I was raised in a coaching family. My dad was a coach, an educator for 30 plus years. My mom did it as well. And so, being on this podcast is super special to me because my wife of 13 years, we have 2 boys, and she's been with me every step of the way. So, like I said, just being on this podcast is super special because I grew up a coach's kid. And then now we're kind of tag teaming this deal with my wife and doing it with 2 boys. So we have a 6th grade boy and a 1st grade son. So that's kind of just a little bit about it, about my background. And so super excited again to be here and thankful for the opportunity. So thank y'all.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, Coach Russo-Murrell.
Thank you, Coach Knight. Also, like Coach Villegas said, I'm very honored to be here, excited to be here. I am the head softball coach, assistant volleyball coach at Royal High School and Royal ISD, Brookshire, Texas. We're a small 4A rural school. Love it out here. A lot of community out here. My husband and I also have two little boys. I have a third grader, 8 years old, and in kindergarten. He's 6 years old. Well, about to turn 6 years old. And this is my overall 32nd year coaching in total. I started right after high school. Or I should say I started right when I was like 5, right? My dad was a coach. He was a referee as well. My mom was a teacher. She taught pre-K. And so coming from a coach's family, my uncles were coaches. I've also, and we'll probably talk later about this, I get to coach with my brother too at times now. So it's definitely in the family. But thank you for having me.
That's awesome. So I've got something in common with both of you. I too have boys. So I've got a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and then I've got 2 bonus boys that are 4 and 11, going on 12. So the boy mom life and the boy parent life it's real in my house. It's a lot of wrestling, a lot of fun, but we enjoy it. So let's get into it and let's talk about how do you all balance the priorities? Coach Murrell, you can go ahead and go first. We know that coaching is complicated. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. So how do you balance the responsibilities of being a parent along with your coaching requirements?
So I think I'm in a very different situation. I have a unique perspective because I didn't have my first son until I was 42. So I was much older and I had been coaching a while. And now I can really look back and see how much I've changed since then and since having my boys. And I had to become realistic. When it comes to balance, you have to be very realistic about where are your priorities and what you can do and can't do and what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And so in the article that I wrote, I mentioned that I was in an interview and the interviewee asked me, or the interviewer asked me, you know, what is it that makes you a coach? Who are you? And the first thing I said that popped into my head was I was a mom. And I didn't get that job. And later I asked him, is it because I said that? And he's like, never put that as a backseat, because if that's what you are, that's who you are, then you don't want to ever take a job that makes that the backseat. And that's when I had to have a really like a gut check. Like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C and be the mom that I want to be. So in order to have that balance, you really have to be realistic with yourself and decide what you can do without and what you can't do without. And it's hard. Like, it's definitely a struggle. And there's some days that I feel like I've cut my team short, and there's some days I feel like I've cut my kids short and my family short. But overall, if I can sleep at night knowing that I did my very best, then that's a win. And it really is just day by day trying to find that balance, just being honest and realistic with yourself.
Love that. Coach, that was a great article that you wrote in the THSCA Texas Coach magazine. It honestly and truly put some things in perspective. You know, as you both know, as coaches, we just go and get things done and we just make it work. And we don't really stop to think about how we did it. We just do it. And to really and truly see you talk about how your kids are your first team. And, you know, we've got our teams on our campuses and we've got other people in our families that we need to make sure that we show up for. But you being so intentional about how you personally make your kids your first team and sharing that in our THSCA Texas Coach magazine was phenomenal. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Coach Villegas, do you want to share with us, you know, how do you find the balance, knowing that you and your wife both are coaching?
Yeah, so again, number one is super difficult, right? That balance. I truly believe, especially for my situation, it starts with your spouse, number one, your partner, on helping you with that balance. You know, the sacrifices that you know they have to do daily They help raise, the student athletes that we're around as well. They kind of bring them in. But again, just finding that balance is super difficult. I truly, like I said, I truly feel like it starts with your spouse, the support, the sacrifice, the love, the care, all the dynamics that come into, being a coach's wife. And so that's super important. And then you find that balance, like I said, confiding within them on, what's right and what's the correct choice or what's the right choice. I will always, very similar to coach, but, family is obviously first. And so I'm the athletic director at the school that I'm at right now. I don't ever question anything when my coaches send me something about dealing with their family. If there is a program that they're interested in going to, I want them to be there, for their kids because, going through this as a young child and being around it my entire life, don't get me wrong, but it was a decision that my dad made, at the time, was, he made huge sacrifices when he wasn't at, one of our events or something like that. And he chose, his team over an event or something that we have going. So I guess, to answer the question though, like I said, the balance, finding that balance is extremely difficult. But you also, we also have tough conversations with our children. Some mornings, like you said too, Coach, it's a daily decision too as well. Because some mornings it's, hey son, like I know you have this program, but guess what? I'll be there at this time, but I have to go handle this on the school side. And so letting them understand, what our job comes with and kind of what we have to do. Just making that daily conversation, I think, is super important as well. So we try to do that every Sunday as a family between me and my wife as well. We sit down and kind of plan the week out to the best that we can, and knowing that you have to kind of tie in your family situation to your school situation. I think is kind of how you go about it. So, but like I said, finding that balance is extremely difficult. But again, visiting with your spouse, visiting with your partner is the only way I feel like it gets done. So.
All right. Thank you for that. I think you make a good point about that intentional communication. I know my husband probably thinks that I am nuts with the schedule that I have, but that intentionality makes such a difference. On Sundays, he's like, hey, what does your week look like? I'm like, hey, this is what it is. And these are the possibles. But the other point you made about making sure that your staff is available for their families, that's where the power dynamic, I think, in coaching has transitioned over the last few years. And it's a positive transition because, mom doesn't always just raise the kids now. Mom wants to coach too. So being intentional about those things, communicating and, talking through your week, that's where that time management part comes in. Do y'all have any routines that y'all want to share that work for your families? You talked a little bit about it, Coach Villegas, about you and your wife talking on Sundays. Are there any other routine things that you do to ensure your time management?
I do the same thing as Coach Villegas, like check in with my spouse, ask him what's going on with his schedule. But I love that he has that communication with his other coaches because that's huge. You have to have your community involved. You have to have your whole tribe around you. And Coach, as athletic director, you're modeling that for your head coaches who are going to pass that down to their assistant coaches. And that's going to keep people in our profession. So I think having that communication, I talk to my coaches weekly about, what do you have? We have a word, we say pineapple. If a coach needs to take a day, they just tell me pineapple, and I don't ask questions, it's fine. It's okay. So formally, I'm checking in with you weekly, but on a day, you don't owe me any explanation. When I need you, I need you. But if you have to go do something, just pineapple, it's fine. They'll just text me pineapple. I got you, coach. It's good. But I know that when I need a day or I need to go do something with my kids, they're there for me 100%, no matter what. But it does take that routine checking in. You just can't assume. And then I'm an assistant coach on the volleyball side. And when I need a day, like my head coach, she's like, that's fine. You owe me nothing. you're good. Like, but I know that when I am there, I'm 100%, I'm trying to do as much as I can. So routinely checking in with not only your spouse, but all the other moving parts. Sports U, I love Sports U because I put out a weekly, here's our agenda, and the kids really like it, but I'm like, it's really for me. So I can keep track of everything that's going on. We have a pep rally. My kid has, awards night, like, or whatever. But just that consistent, standard weekly communication with all the stakeholders really helps. And then you can make sure no one's feeling unappreciated, overlooked, or forgot or anything like that. And I try to model that for my players as well. So they'll come to me, Coach, I need a study hall day. You got it. But tomorrow we're going to go twice as hard. But they appreciate the fact that they're seen. And I think that's the big thing in this when we're trying to balance this work life is everyone wants to feel seen. Even when they're only a 5-year-old kid, they want to feel like they're important too. So my routine is just a weekly check-in, at the very least, a weekly check-in with all stakeholders.
And I think your comment, it goes into the support system side of it. You talked about all the stakeholders. As far as, your admin, how do you check in with them so they understand what you need from them because they're your work family? And so you've got to use your work family to make sure that you have the sufficient time for your home family. So, Coach Villegas, how do you you talked about, checking in with your coaches and making sure that they're there for their families. How do you extend that support system or work with your admin team to make sure that, it's across the board for everyone?
Again, I think it's just in all aspects, really just being a team player. We've had situations this year, principal has to take their child to the dentist or their child to some type of appointment, and their communication to us, is obviously that they're not going to be in for a certain amount of time. And I think it's just reciprocated by you messaging back and saying, is there anything you need me to do? Because, and then, going back to coach, like there's no reason for us to ask questions. It's just, the simple common courtesy of the communication side of just saying, what can we do for you? While you're out is what do you need done? And so I think, obviously within a staff too, it builds trust within your staff. And then again, you talk about the constant communication. Obviously ours is a group text message. And, it just goes back to just having that common communication, us as coaches being in charge of our teams. What do we expect from our players? We expect, that constant communication and that accountability factor of, hey, coach, I have this come up, whatever the case may be. I will not be at practice today. And so if we're stressing that to our players, it's only simple for us to perform that in our job as well. And so I just think that's important. So simple text message, just to let them know that, hey, I'm not going to be in today. If we receive that message from one of our other administrators, then I think it's just as simple as, what do you need us to do for you while you're gone? And just to make sure everything is covered. I think that's important. So, and I think that's standard. I think a lot of school districts do that. I think the really good ones do that. You can't sit back and be afraid to let them know that you do have something come up. We talk about it daily with our programs. For instance, I'm the boys basketball coach as well, but boys basketball, that's not the only thing that these kids have in their lives. Us coaching, this is not the only thing that we have in our lives. And even us being human, we go through situations as well. And so, personally, there's things at our house right now. Me and my wife are recently, we're going through a flood that happened about a week ago. Just a line busted and it's a little adversity obviously on our family, but no different than what our kids are having to experience. Things happen to them at home as well. And so I think you just communicate those things to your players that, man, it's not perfect on our side, and things happen to us as well. Things happen to our families, and we have to take off and kind of do those things to make sure that everyone's taken care of.
Make a good point. You talk about the adversity side of it, and I mean, all of us have been coaching long enough that we understand that we learn from experience. Let's talk a little bit about, let's say, a time that maybe you had a tough situation. I'll talk about with my 3-year-old. He is all gas, no brakes. He is, I love him. He's mine. He has his mother's personality. Had him up here. He's outside. I'm trying to coach track practice. He runs across the track and during practice, gets smoked. I had to learn from that experience, and I hope he did too. Mama's going to coach and mama's going to bring you into her space, but you've got to understand that, there's things that have to happen at this time in this space. And I learned that, hey, I might need to keep him a little closer. He's a runner. He likes to track just like his mom does. So learning from that experience, a situation you might have had come up, something that you were able to, power through and really show not just your personal kids, but the kids in your programs that, this parenting and coaching balance can exist no matter how chaotic it may be. It can happen. Coach Russo.
I remember I was 8 months pregnant and this was a softball game, and beginning of softball game, we have a plate meeting. The opposing coach was also 8 months pregnant. So we're standing belly to belly at the plate. The umpire is like, I hope neither one of y'all go into labor right now because I know what we're going to do. I was like, it's fine. It's okay. I had my other son was 3 years old at the time. He's in the dugout. And the whole thing from the outside could have been very chaotic. And I just, once Coach Pacheco invited me to this podcast, I started thinking about a lot of things. Like, how did I even get through that? Like, how I drove the bus. I was 8 months pregnant with my belly up against the steering wheel. How did I even drive a bus, much less get a 3-year-old packed up on the bus, still get to the game, do the game and everything like that? So I don't have one thing, but that incident or that day just kind of sticks out in my mind because when you look back, you wonder, like, how did I do that? But I did it, and I did it with help. And I had, managers on my team who loved my boy, and they were there with him, and they were running to the concession stand and making sure he had snacks and, taking care of everything. And yeah, he just tries to get out on the dirt on the field, but it's not time. I don't want you to get hit with a ball or anything, and I'm like, we played on a Tuesday. I ended up having a C-section on a Friday from that game. So it, like, you just sit back, you wonder, how do I did it? But it was, it's the strength of God, my husband, my family. Even getting to that game, I remember the bus driving, the guy who schedules the buses for us made sure I had buses with seatbelts so I could have the car seat in the bus for me. Those little things, when you have that community around you to support you, it makes things that look really chaotic. And from the outside, people are like, how is she doing that? How is that even happening? It makes it happen. It was hard and it was a lot, but when you started talking about your incident with your son, I was like, yeah, that could have been a bad one that day, but thankfully it wasn't. But it was because I have a lot of help. I have a good support system.
I love that you talk about the support system. You talked about how you had that C-section on that Friday. So real funny, real quick. So I have a 1-year-old. Last year, I opened up a brand new school here in Prosper ISD. Had a cryptic pregnancy, found out about 100 days before I was going to have a baby. I found out in June I was going to have a baby in September. Didn't have any symptoms, anything. The day he was born, I went to a cross-country meet that morning. I left the cross-country meet, hugged all my girls and my team, went home, took a shower. My husband threw everything in the car, and we had a baby at 3:00 that afternoon. So from the outside, it looks chaotic. But for us, it's about you find a way to show up. And when you have the right support system, it makes the chaos to others really and truly function for us. So, I think that's a great point that you make, that all you think about is that day, because on the outside, our lives for coaching and parenting looks like chaos. But the reality of it is our normal is supported by so many different groups. Like you said, the bus guy, there's so many different people that come into play into our success. And, especially, let's say, Texas High School Coaches Association, just really for them to take the time to be so intentional about giving us a platform to talk about this, to encourage more coaches to stay in the industry and to encourage coaches to be great supporters of their family, like Coach Villegas. Like, this is a big deal, and I'm so thankful to be a part of this. So as we move forward, let's just talk about what's the best advice you would give a coach who's getting ready to have their first kid, they're coaching. Coach Villegas, speak to it from a standpoint of both parents are coaching. What's the best advice you would give them?
I guess balance, that we talked about earlier. It's super difficult. I have a lot of, and y'all do as well, but you have a lot of former players that are, interested in coaching. And maybe they have a family, or they don't have a family, or they want to start a family. And I think I simply stress to them, like, I'm not sure, because my wife didn't come from a coaching family, but I'm not 100% sure I even had to explain what the job looked like. You try to do your best, at the very beginning. But it's as simple as, obviously, before we had kids, the lifestyle looked a little bit different. I spent more time at the field house. I spent more time at the gyms. And then obviously throughout the course of this, having children and things like that and other factors are coming in, it kind of looks a little bit differently. But I guess my main advice is, like I said, I've got a young one right now that has just now jumped into the profession. I always joke with them all the time and simply just state, like, make sure that your wife is good with it. With this decision, make sure that you're communicating with her and she understands that this is what it looks like. And so, I think that's important. But again, the balance, I think, is the most crucial thing. The time frame, the timeline of it, and then kind of just what it all entails. And so we joke around about it all the time, just within our coaching office. As it's funny because we don't have college courses on how to do laundry, and college courses on waiting for a kid to be picked up. Those are just kind of just the small things that play into your role. There's very few counseling courses that you take whenever you sign up to be a coach. Those things it very rarely happens, but when you step into this role, you almost become a lot of different professions in one. And so I just think it's crucial to understand that it's gonna take a lot to do this profession, and to do this job. And so I think that's important.
Appreciate that. Coach Russo, as he's talked about the communication and, talking through with your spouse. Can you speak to a little bit about how you would encourage, young coaches or coaches who are thinking about starting a family, about how they set those boundaries so that family time is family time? Because we all know those boundaries matter. And when you go into it without boundaries, your family time gets infringed upon. So what's some advice you would give about setting those boundaries?
You've used this word quite a few times today, but intentional. Be intentional. So I turn my phone off when I get home with my family, because not only does it allow me to be present for my family, it allows me to disconnect and refresh instead of dwelling on, okay, what drill do we need to do tomorrow? Okay, what's the batting order going to be? Because I will spiral and not be present with my family. So be intentional about what you do and how you do it, and realize that as a coach, if you do things with intention and you do things with your team in mind and for the betterment of them as people, as humans, and Coach Villegas did use that word too, as humans, we're developing humans, that people will learn to respect that. People will try to cross your boundaries at first. Of course, they're going to push it. They want you to play, their kid and the best 8, but if you are very intentional and and you project that you're there to help their kids develop, that we're not working against anybody, then parents will respect your boundaries. Your admin will respect your boundaries. Everyone will respect your boundaries as long as you're intentional and consistent. And when you're on that field and you're on that court, you're 100% there. You're there. You're giving it your all. Sometimes things come up, like, in your situation where your son ran on the track. For a moment, you had to be mom. You had to quit being coach for a moment to take care of your son. But for if everything's going good and all the cylinders are firing, then you're coach and you're there and you're doing your thing. So I think if you just, fill in the gaps and do the best that you can with what you have, be intentional in setting your boundaries that people, and be consistent with it. Don't flip flop. Be consistent in what you're saying, that people will learn to respect you and know where you're coming from.
I agree. One of my favorite sayings is, you teach people how to treat you. And you absolutely, especially as a parent, because, at work, people are our product. And at home as a parent, people are our product. So teaching not just, the people around you at work how to treat you, but teaching your kids too. Like Coach Villegas said earlier, talking to his kids about, hey, I know that you have this, I'm coming at this time. How you talked about having your kids in the dugout. You have to teach your other kids how to treat your children. And that comes with a respect. And I think that being very transparent about our parenting and our families, and, where I am now, they're really big on inviting our families into our space. And so having open space and open dialogue and open doors to families, I think it really and truly will help us to be good stewards of the industry and keep more coaches in coaching. So, I know we're getting close to wrapping up. So let's talk a little bit about, what's the one thing you wish someone would have told you before you became a parent, and how you could balance what we do. Let's go with, from both of y'all. Coach Russo, you go ahead and go first. I see that smile.
I wish somebody told me I wasn't Superwoman, because I'm not. I'm not Superwoman. But I thought I could be. But it's okay, because you still have, Wonder Woman, and she's not Superwoman, but she's Wonder Woman, and she still does great stuff too. So I think that I wish someone had told me it's okay to not be okay sometimes. It's okay to not be perfect. You're going to mess some things up, and it's okay. Forgive yourself, move on, rebound, bounce back. Same thing we tell our athletes, right? Just go on to the next one. Forget the last pitch. Here's the new one. Forget the last error. Here's a new opportunity. So I wish that someone had kind of told me that it's okay to not be that perfect parent. It's okay to not get it right, because you will get better. You will learn. Our kids do teach us. You will get better. You will learn, and you'll make it a lot better without beating yourself up.
I appreciate you sharing that. You're so true, because everybody expects us to be that Superwoman, but sometimes even Superwoman needs a day off. But the on-the-job training of parenting is, my goodness, especially as a mom of boys. They are an experience every day. So, Coach Villegas, what advice do you have? What would you want to be told?
I think very similar to what Coach said. I kind of make this phrase all the time, being a basketball coach, but and I try to relate it to our personal life. And to, again, falling back on the side of adversity is, even as coaches, guess what? Like you said too, Coach, like, we're not perfect. And so even us as coaches, guess what? I turn it over. There's times in my ball game that I turn it over. And so I think it's super important, like Coach was saying too, is the resilient factor of, just bouncing back, improving as a person, improving as a dad, improving as a father, improving as a husband, and improving as a coach. I think is super important. As simple as not making the same mistake twice, and hopefully, you improve and be better. So, not 100% sure if I answered the question, but I think it's just simple as just being resilient. Like I said, I think that's important.
I appreciate that. I think we all can agree there is no perfect playbook for parenting, and that's okay. It is so much perfection in the imperfections of what we do, just like with coaching, as you were talking about. we're going to turn it over sometimes, but it's what we do on the back end. So I thank both of y'all for taking some time out in the middle of your day to, share your experiences and talk about your families with me. I wish you both the best this season. I pray that, your kid doesn't run out on the track and get knocked down like mine did. And we go on from there. Y'all have a great one. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was great talking to you both. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Cool. And thank you, Coach Knight, for the exceptional job you did. And of course, thank Coach Russo-Murrell and Coach Villegas for all the amazing feedback, because you're right. It's such an important aspect of what you do. As a coach, everybody's looking to you. As a parent, everybody's looking to you. So this is invaluable. Good stuff.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be on with y'all today.
Hey, of course, I want to thank our guest, but I also want to thank you. I want to thank you for giving me what I consider the most valuable thing you can give, your time and your attention. And I know you don't do it to hear me. You hear it for the great messages provided by the THSCA. And hey, if you'd like to associate your company with the THSCA and the Coach's Call podcast, limited sponsorship opportunities are available. You can reach out to me, Chris Doelle, 713-269-4620, or head over to my website, freshmediaworks.com. Once again, thank you so much for supporting Texas high school coaches. Please share this show out to everybody you can so that we can help share these important messages. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time on The Coach's Call. The interviews in this show are brought to you by the Texas High School Coaches Association. THSCA provides to its more than 26,000 members access to the people, events, tools, and resources to help them thrive in the profession, become trusted leaders in their communities, and live balanced and successful lives. The work and sacrifice coaches do every day is vital to the development and success of student athletes. The THSCA supports these efforts. We fight for every coach, provide them with the connections and resources to improve their lives, and help all student athletes throughout the state enjoy lasting success. The mission statement is simply this: to help and serve Texas high school coaches as they work to help and serve student athletes. Helping coaches help kids. For more information on the THSCA, visit www.thsca.com.